Have you ever ran into a 3D Gaussian splatting project or a different sort of research project on GitHub and wanted to install it on Windows just to find out that it only works on Linux? Well, this situation can be frustrating. I'm here to tell you that you can actually run these projects using what's called WSL, which means you can run Linux within Windows. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Linux with Ubuntu and get CUDA Toolkit installed and everything working so you can run a 3D Gaussian splatting project that is only for Linux. So I'm going to jump into my desktop and I'm going to show you step by step how to set up your environment. Okay, so as always, I set up a GitHub project, which I will link in the description of this video. And it's going to walk you step by step through everything I'm about to show you. And at the bottom, I have some tips and troubleshooting that will really help you out in some of these fringe cases. I just ask that if you run into something, please jump into the issues section of GitHub, ask questions, and I will, in fact, improve this over time as we run into different issues that I can help troubleshoot. So first, why WSL for 3DGS? Again, if you want to run all sorts of projects on your computer that are Linux only, it's going to require you to run Linux either through Windows or do a dual boot situation, which is not necessarily ideal. So in this case, I'm able to install Ubuntu on my Windows machine and access all the files through Windows and make things real easy for you. I do have a systems requirement for this because you need at least Windows 10. I use Windows 11. You're going to want a newer build of Windows 10. You will need an NVIDIA GPU if you want the CUDA support, which I'm about to show you. And then I suggest Ubuntu 20.04 or 22.04. There is a 24.04, but I've noticed that a few projects have compatibility issues with that. And then lastly, you want at least 32 gigabytes of RAM on your computer. If you are running around a 16, that might not be enough for a project. You can try it, but I suggest at least 32 if you have that. So let's get on to installing. So the first part is we actually just need to get Ubuntu installed on your computer. And the easiest way to do that is you can do it through command line by pulling up your command prompt, and you can just do one of these commands. And this first one will just install like the basic Ubuntu, which actually I think is 24, or you can specify a certain release. But I'm actually going to show you an easier way that's not even on here. I realize I should add it. Is you could just go to your Windows store and type in Ubuntu like so, and you'll see different versions. So I see 20.04, 22.04. Just pick one. I'm going to pick the unbranded one. So this is actually the newest one, probably not the one you want, but if I were you, I have 22.04.5 LTS on my computer. That's the one I would run if I were you. So if you click on it, it opens up its own command prompt window and starts installing it. It says it takes a few minutes. Guarantee it doesn't take you that long. Okay, now I give it a new Unix username. So just like whatever your username is for this, I'm going to call this just Jonathan. That's my name. And then a password, I'll just pick one. I'm just going to put it in a password. You have to retype it. And bam. So it's all set up. And so you'll see all this text every time you load up your PC. Or every time you load up Ubuntu, and then it says hush on login. So next time I log in, you might not see all of that. So the next thing is if I go to my computer, it won't necessarily see all of my memory. So there's a way to check how much memory you have on your computer. And the easiest way to do that, as you can see, it says this still needs editing. I'm going to add this, but basically just going to go back to my command prompt. And I'm going to type in free-h, and it'll show me how much memory I have free and how much I have for swap. Swap is like if I run out of actual system RAM, you can swap and just grab memory from my hard drives. It's not as fast, so ideally you have the most. And by default, Ubuntu will use half of your memory, so it leaves some in reserves for computer. I can tell you want to use it all because I'm not going to be running other applications outside of Ubuntu at the same time. So I need to make some changes. I have 64 gigs on my computer, so I have already modified this, but I'm going to show you what you need to do. So basically, you're going to open up like your notepad, your text editor. I'm going to start a new tab like so, and then you're going to create a file called .wslconfig, but I'm just going to take this all and I'm going to copy and going to paste it into that file like so. And tell it how much memory I want it to have access to. So like right now it says 32 gigabytes, maybe you only have 32. For me, it's 64 gigabytes, whatever you want, something like that. And then processors, that means it can, how many processors you have access to. You can actually delete that if you have, let's say, a lot of them. And then swap, how much swap that you want to have access to. So 64 gigs. So you could do that and then hit file, save as, and then you're going to want to save it to your user's username. So for me, it's my user folder, which is, if I go to C users, here's my user folder, and then just save it in here. Right now, I'm just going to leave it as is. It's called WSL2.txt, hit save. And then I'm going to go find that in my file explorer. So bring my file explorer over, and then I'm going to find my the file I just saved, which should be a text file like this, and you're just going to rename it .wsl config like so, and hit enter, and it'll change, it'll save it. And you can see actually two under, I already have one. So I'm actually not going to do it to this one. I'm just going to open this one so we can see what it looks like. Okay, so here's the one that I have created. Mine is slightly different, but it's basically saying swap 32 gigabytes and I have 64 gigabytes of memory. And then this is something that you won't have to do unless you're doing something special. So I have that in there, but you can skip that. So just what that'll do now is if you then go modify that, you will then see that you'll have full memory. So that's just something that you want to set up unless you don't think you're going to use all that much memory. But especially if you're doing AI projects, you'll run into that. So once you're done with that, you basically then have to go to WSL shutdown. I already created my own issue. I actually need to close this window, go to command, do it in here outside of WSL. You can't shut it down from within, and it'll shut it down. So then I just need to restart it. So come back here, gonna restart it, good to go. And so you know your difference of command prompt and your WSL by those top tabs there. So we got this up and running. Now I need to install some dependencies. So basically things that will get my computer up and running to be able to pull code and things like that. And I just kind of have some popular essential utilities that you'll want. So just copy and paste this like I just did there. And then it'll ask you for your password, enter. And now it's just going to download all these dependencies. It sounds like a lot, but it's actually not a ton of files here or a lot of memory it's going to take. But they're all things that your computer will probably need when you're trying to run all sorts of different sorts of projects for visualizations and things. Okay, now it's done. Took maybe a minute and a half. And then you want to install Conda. So I suggest mini Conda. You can get other versions, but let's just go with the one they have here. Just going to copy, paste that in, and it's going to install it. Press enter to continue. It's going to say, do you accept the terms? Yes. Be installed in your mini Conda folder. That sounds great. Hit enter to confirm, and just going to go and install it. Okay, now it says you can do this, but okay, so we just want to hit yes again. Done. So just make sure you kind of yes to everything. I always keep things in the default locations. It's easier to find it later on. So now I know I have Conda installed. And now I'm going to install CUDA Toolkit. This is probably one of the more confusing things to do. On my repo, I have 12.6. You could do 11.8 if you want. You could just go here for your additional toolkits. So you can go find, let's say 11.8, which is a very popular one. And in the future, I'm going to actually show you how to manage multiple ones. So let's just start out with 12.6, which I can actually just go here, 12.6 like so. And then I have the instructions here, or if you go pick Linux through here, if you're, let's say, picking a different version, do WSL like this, and you want to do deb local, and it's going to give you the instructions. So basically the same instructions that I showed you. So let's just go through these since I have them on the screen one by one. So we're going to do this here. It's just going to pull the code. Like so. It's just a lot of one by one going through the lines. And some of these lines will take a long time. Some of these lines will be pretty quick. So this next one's going to take a little longer. It's going to download like 300 megabyte file with all the code that I need to install. Okay, so now it's downloaded. You can see it was 2.73 gigabytes, much bigger than I said. And that took about a minute 40. So then I got to go through these last few commands. Make sure I actually copied that because I don't think I did. Like so. Okay, so it says these public keys did not appear install. So I just need to go do this, install these keys. And then I actually, if you did it this way, I think you got to redo the command before because it didn't have the keys. It's kind of like they had their instructions out of order. So there we go. That looks good. And then sudo app update. And then the last thing we need to do is sudo app install. So now it's going to install the toolkit. So again, this can take a few minutes. It can be pretty quick depending on how fast your computer is. Okay, it's done. That probably took a minute, not very long on my computer. Again, I just fast forwarded through some of this so you didn't have to sit through it. At this point, I can actually check to make sure it's installed by typing in nv cc -- version. So, and it says not installed. That's because I forgot one key thing. We need to add it to your system path. So basically pretty easy. I'm just going to go through these 3 commands, and I believe you can just paste them all at once. Now let's try it. There you go. So now it's been added to my path, where I'll say 12.6 is the build version and the compiler. So this is exactly what I want. So now I have 12.6 on my system ready to go. So now I have my computer practically set up to start installing like a 3D.js project. There's a few gotchas. I'm going to run through a really quick to install project so you can see how it actually works in practice. One thing that people normally get tripped up on is PyTorch, because something will say like, I need PyTorch 11.8 or for 11.8 CUDA Toolkit, some newer or old ones. So let's just kind of like jump in and see what that looks like and kind of walk through some of this. So coming down to the tips and troubleshooting, you can require an older version to install some software. SV Raster is a really good example. If I go to one and I go to install, it says install PyTorch first, then on tested versions is either 1.13.1 PyTorch on CUDA Toolkit, like 11.7, or you could use 11.8, it'll be cross-compatible, or you need 2.5.0 on CUDA Toolkit 12.4. So let's just say this didn't have the the second one, the newer toolkit. You'd have to install an older version of CUDA Toolkit. So like, let me just actually set that up really quick and show you how you have multiple versions and then be able to implement one versus the other. So I'm just gonna go back to my instructions. So now I'm gonna actually install 11.8 on my system as well. I'm just kind of gonna go through these line by line. So again, this will take a minute. It's downloading another several gigabyte file because it's going to download CUDA Toolkit 11.8 onto my local drive. Okay, so that's downloaded. Go back to my instructions and do these last couple of lines. I ran into an error that is because I chose the newest version of Ubuntu that I ran into. So I'm just going to troubleshoot this really quickly and come right back. Okay, so this is where I'm in the perils of using the wrong Ubuntu and why you should use the 20 or 22 version. Basically, what happened was 11.8 is not fully compatible with the newest version of Ubuntu. So just lesson learned. I haven't ran through this. I'm doing this kind of live. Pick 22 or 20 as your Ubuntu version. But what I was going to show you still applies. If you had the right version, it should have worked just fine. So let's get back to my computer. So if that all worked, then all you have to do is then, it's called export these paths. If you were to copy and paste this in to your command terminal there, then it would pick up the right CUDA toolkit. As a cheat sheet, you can follow these instructions and it'll work just fine to install 11.8, and then you end up with 2. So if whenever you launch your computer, we had in the first one, got 12.6 installed, and this basically added it to your path. It is always the one I'll default to, but you can temporarily default to 11.8 by using this. So again, my apologies to watch this much and it not work, but trust me, it does work if you use the right version of Ubuntu. So now let's go install a project so you can see it all in practice. So I'm going to go to Beta Splatting. That's a good project. And it's really easy to install. It does work on Windows, but I can tell you it's the same instructions. So the first thing we need to do is clone this repository we're in. And so I'm just copying this whole thing. A nice thing about working again in Linux is you can take the whole chunk and it'll just run through this stuff one by one. So it's just going to pull all that code like so, and it dumped me into the Beta Splatting folder. And then we're going to create a Conda environment. Super easy. In fact, I don't know why I didn't make this bigger for you all, but let me just do that. So now I have the Beta Splatting Conda environment. We're moving at light speed because we're on Linux. And then here we go, install PyTorch based on your CUDA version. So again, this is really like murky, or like which one do I use? Here's the key. You're going to open up that link, or you could type in PyTorch, and then you're just going to say, I want to install this for Linux using pip, and I have CUDA 12.6. So we're just going to take this right here, and we're going to install that like so. Okay, so it's done installing PyTorch, pretty simple. Go back to the project, and then it's called pip install, and it's just gonna install basically the code that's in the repository. So go back to command line, paste that in, and it's gonna start installing everything for me. And this project specifically takes like 5 minutes to install. It's pulling code from different repositories and installing it. But things just work because you don't have to use you don't have to use Visual Studio. You don't have to worry about that. It uses GCC, which is a much easier, flexible installer for all of this. So again, everything will just work. And I'm going to fast forward to the end of this where you'll see it's all installed and how easy that was using Linux. Okay, so it's all installed. I think that took 10 minutes on my computer. It's kind of slow, but just showed you how easy it is to install the code on Linux. You don't have to worry about setting up anything with Visual Studio or any of those dependencies. So I do have a couple other additional tips. If you want to see where all those files and things went, I can open up my file explorer, and at the bottom you should see your distributions, and everything should go into your home folder if you're just running like I did. So you can see I set up named Jonathan. I can see that Beta Splatting project in there. I can see mini Conda was installed in there. And I can even show you, here's my other Linux distro I already had up, and you can see I have like 3D GRUT and Cosmos and all these different projects in there, and you can dive into the code. And you can even grab files out of here and back into here. Just know that if you, let's say, if you have this window open and you make a change in running code, you need to refresh the window for it to see it updated. So that's just an easy way. Make sure you're working out of just your home folder. And what that means is when you're here, if I have to change directory and click that, if I go to CD tilde, it'll take me to my home folder. And then from there, you can see all your different directories. So I have Beta Splatting, Mini Conda. And these are actually files I don't need that are red that I can get rid of because I've installed those now. So just kind of gives you an idea of what these look like. And then I did say if you're having problems like recognizing your GPU, you can type in this NVIDIA SMI and it'll show you your access to your GPU, all those sort of things. If you're not seeing that, that means that you need to install your drivers on your NVIDIA GPU. And then as I talked about, you can always see your toolkit version like so. Super easy. So I hope you found that this video is helpful. I have lots of projects I want to show you guys how to install, but requires you to go through this video if you've never set this up first. And that's why I made this video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel. That is what pushes me to keep going. And leave a comment if you run into anything on this, because I will definitely add my feedback and help you troubleshoot any issues you run through. Well, with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.